look up to me as far as like the standard goes. So I don't need this money right now. Do what I do. And online now it became like the main business.
Like, balance. Definitely more balance. 100%. You're like, man, I got to create another niche, another opportunity. Guys, welcome back to the Stan Lebed Show. I am truly honored and blessed to have Ivan Voineac here on my show. This guy, I think he honestly put Rochester on the map. He really did. He put Rochester on the map, especially in the fitness world. He really did. He really changed things around here. Much needed for us. So welcome, Ivan. It's a pleasure having you, man.
What an intro.
It's a good intro, right?
That's a good intro. It's going to be hard to live up to the intro, but thank you, Stan. Thank you. When it comes to fitness, I guess like I have become like the standard and like a personal training and coaching space. You know, that's how I look at myself at, and that's the pressure that I put on myself on daily because when it comes to like fitness and coaching, training, people look up to me as far as like the standard goes. So
100%. You know how much I brag? Like, I think it's daily at this point. Like, yo, this is my cousin. This is my cousin.
Awesome.
Which that's a good thing, man.
Yeah. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. It's good to have the good reputation instead of like the
honestly,
opposite,
I can't say I've ever heard anything bad about you, like from other people, you know? So that comes with popularity and fame comes a lot of hate, obviously, as you know, but I've never heard anyone say anything negative. So
yeah, I think it's the thing about like when I do hear negative things said about me, it's never by somebody that like met me and spoken to me. It's like perception of somebody else, what they think they know about me. It's mostly people like, well, I heard this and this, instead of like, have you talked to him? Like, no.
Yeah.
No, never been anybody that spoke to me and had a conversation with me and knows exactly who I am.
But man, I would, because a lot of people don't know your whole story. I do because we grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up in the complex and you grew up right there in the back, man. So I have a million stories of how this guy almost broke my fingers.
Not the way you think, guys.
Not the way you think, man. He used to be a soccer geek or whatever, man. He used Fanatic. Yeah.
Like what I used to be a bodybuilder and I used to be soccer obsessed.
Yeah.
Like watch every game, every opportunity, have a ball and play.
Well, since we're at that topic, soccer, let's say, is that what kind of kept you in shape? Because a lot of people are probably wondering, hey, has Ivan always been in shape?
Yeah, like, well, soccer is like the reason I was like never overweight.
Yeah.
You know, I was always with the ball, even though, you know, I didn't eat, like I said, like a bodybuilder, but I was always active with the ball. So any opportunity to go outside and play soccer, that was that. You know, that was the sport I wanted to play. But you remember, like, back in the day and when we grew up together, as soon as we have a chance to come from school, it's a soccer ball. It's some kind of sport, you know.
Always, man. And baseball, we always played. Soccer.
So was I ever overweight kid? No. But, like, when I was...
Genetics. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, genetics. Of course, genetics play a small role as into like how you hold the body fat, you know. But I was very active as far as like sports go. But was I like fit what I am now all the time? Or did I always have abs? No. Like when we came from Moldova, you know, over there it's like most of the things you eat is like carbs, you know. So even though I wasn't, you know, fat kid, I was like a kid with like a little pouch, you know, skinny everywhere else, but like a little pouch, a kangaroo running around.
Yeah.
So I was very cautious of that when I was in like middle school, going to high school. I was very like self-conscious of that. And I think that's what drove me, my insecurity of it, drove me into getting abs because like I wanted to get rid of so bad that like a little pouch that I had there that like anytime I used to play video games, remember?
Oh, of course.
I was the guy with the video games.
Yeah, you would lock us out. We would never be able to go into your room.
Yeah.
It was just you and Paul.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we would play video. Anytime I play alone, I used to do, like play a game, and then anytime I lose a level, I do crunches, you know, because I wanted to get rid of my stomach. because that's
Man.
my main thing. I always wanted to have abs.
Or even going back to like where you were born and raised, because I bet you 90% of the people don't even know. That know you now don't know where you were born, what age you came here to America. So
Yeah, so a little like background, like we came from Moldova, your parents, my mom, your mom, their sisters. We grew up in a small town, Moldova. Like I tell people I came from Ukraine or sometimes Russia, whatever, because like people don't even know where Moldova is.
that's 100% true.
Like if I tell them, hey, this is where Moldova is, and the funny thing is like the scene, if you watch Borat, the beginning scene where there's a cow inside the house.
Yeah.
That was shot in Moldova. They
That's
literally
crazy.
shot that scene in Moldova because that's like the culture. Like it was like it's like a town where when you think of what poor is here, it's not even close to what it was there. I'm talking about like no running water. Nobody had running water, not because like you were poor. Even if you're the richest guy there, you didn't have running water. You get water from the well. You go to the bathroom outside in a hole.
Crazy.
When you think about where we grew up, everything that you eat, it has to be either cultivated from earth, as far as like plants, vegetables, or you have to go kill, hunting. My parents had a lot of pigs. We had cow for milk. Somebody else had goats. So it was a trade. It was not like a place where over here you go to a store and you buy whatever you want. So you get appreciation for food.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think that it's kind of what plays a role in your success a little bit too? Because you know where you can't, like, how much opportunity there's in here.
Of course.
So I think that could probably make a big...
The biggest thing that, like, we got as immigrants as far as, like, coming to America is realization of opportunities. Because over there, I can't imagine what I would do, I would be what? A shepherd, walking around hauling sheep,
No, that's so much truth to that.
But
man.
that's what kind of drives you here is because we have opportunity here. I mean, you could do anything you want here in America. You could, if you don't have any skills, have a skill of chopping wood. And you could go to somebody and be like, listen, I'll cut that tree for you down, for $250.
That's so true,
and you
man,
could have a business out of that.
Yeah.
Because as long as you do a good job, now you had a business. Fortunately for me, I fell into the business of helping people solve a problem with weight or insecurities as far as confidence getting in shape. So that was my opportunity. But not to spin off of that and kind of forget where we came from. I came here when I was about 13.
13 years old.
Yep.
So you went to school a little bit in Moldova.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout middle school. And...
Yeah. Yep. Didn't have like high school there. So there's only 9 grades. I went to school half there and then I came here about like 8th grade.
Wow. Man, that must have been super difficult though.
Yeah.
I could only imagine because I was in ESL class.
Yeah.
And I was only 4 years old when I came to America. So I was a youngster, you know.
My
and I
sister.
went to homeschool for like...
Yeah.
Not homeschool. I did ESL for such a long time. I could imagine you already at that age.
Yeah.
That must have been a huge
and
setback.
When we came, we all lived in English Road, in Greece. And then that was only for a couple months. And then my parents found a house on Main Street in the city. So I went to Jefferson Middle School, which was like different culture shock because I went from never seeing African-American black people, back home to a school with just, black people. And now you have to understand their culture, understand like, you don't understand English. Plus now you have like, you're the only like white kid in school, or in your class. So that was like,
culture shock, 100%.
You're like, oh, what am I getting myself into? As far as parents, like I wanted to go home in the beginning.
Did you ever get bullied or anything in school?
Yeah, like my first fight, it wasn't actually, my first fight wasn't like with a black person or it was like with like a Puerto Rican kid. Kept calling me white boy, and eventually I was like, you know what? It was an art class, and I had a chair, and I was watching. I've been watching like WWE. Because that's the only thing that was on TV. And I literally took a chair and I slammed him in his back. And I got suspended. And I was so scared to go home because I know how pissed my mom would be.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
so
my mom,
funny.
I got like, Mom, we have a break from school. She goes, break from what? I'm like, we have a 5-day break. She goes, what do you mean 5-day break?
That's
So I
so
came
funny.
home and I erased the voice message you
Yeah.
used to have back in the day, you know?
That's so
And I
funny, man.
erased it. And she's like, that makes no sense. So she called school and the translator and she's like, yeah, your son got suspended.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, but then how was you went to high school? From my understanding, you.
yeah, we went to high school after a little bit of middle school in the city. I started high school in Penfield, and Penfield, that's where I started the high school. But and I started to understand English a little bit more. I think the main thing that helped me with like English, as far as like high school, is being around just like American people and like soccer. You know, when I started playing soccer in high school, that's where it kind of forced me to speak more English because now you're around, you know.
Yeah, if you're around those people,
Yeah.
and that's all they speak,
That's how
you'll
they
have to learn.
speak, and you kind of understand, like, pass the ball, this, that. You understand small things. You start going out with those guys, and that's where it kind of helped me a lot.
And did you finish? You went throughout high school?
No. So with English being now
tough,
it's
yeah.
tough, you know, I didn't know any English when I come here. Me being shy, I was super shy because like I was insecure about my speaking. You know, once in a while, like I'll speak a certain thing, answer a question, and some kids like, "What the hell did you say?" You know, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that again. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not answering that question again." So my teachers would be like, is he not smart, or is he just like shy? You know, and it was both, being a little shy, not knowing English, and then eventually I just stopped going to classes by like 10th grade, stopped showing up to classes, skipping classes, and eventually by the time like 11th grade rolled up, I was so far behind. The teacher's like, no, you're probably gonna have to stay another grade. And my sister started school in high school. I'm like, I'm not going to the same high school as my sister.
Oh, it's so funny.
You know, so by the time 11th grade showed up, you know, I just like, I'm just gonna go to work, you know, and make money and then figure it out.
And I mean, I can definitely relate on that because 10th grade, same.
Yeah.
10th grade, I just first opened my business and I started working full time.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I did. I don't feel like I missed out on much.
No.
I got my life started a lot quicker, and I feel like it's the same for you.
Yeah.
You know?
The same for me. Like, I wish I didn't get pushed to finish school so much by parents because like it wasn't for me. You know, I wish I just like at 10th grade or 11th grade just started working.
Well,
the
parents had like the immigrant mindset too,
Yeah.
though. That you come in here, you got to work.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. I guess they didn't really have a business mindset. Parents,
No.
Our parents had no business mindsets.
No,
You know,
no, it wasn't that. You go get a job,
That's
you know,
it.
and then
9 to 5.
Yep, work it up there. Even like when I started my like fitness business, like my mom, my dad would be like, "When do you get like a real job?" Like, because I used to work a regular job, and they were like, "Well, make sure you show up to work and this and that," and I'll like not go to work, or I just didn't like working for a company like the whole sit at the desk, do this job, go home, rinse, repeat, hopefully earn some vacation time. Just wasn't for me. So
So do you agree, like the saying, once you're born an entrepreneur, or are you made an entrepreneur? Do you think people are like born having that entrepreneur like spirit in a way?
No, I don't.
You grow
some
into it.
people are, some people are not. You know, some people just they're born to create business after business. Some people are like almost like forced into it because, like for me, in my perspective, like I wasn't good at working like regular job because I wasn't very passionate about it. That school wasn't for me. Education part is like learning books, sitting there learning, wasn't for me. So I got forced into like, okay, I'm very passionate about this thing, and luckily, with the right work ethic, people skills, sales, obviously, it led me to having my own business.
Yeah.
But I learned most of that stuff through through fitness, you know.
Yeah,
just
I
putting
feel
those
like
reps
fitness
in.
is such a big part of your life, which is a blessing to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I guess like when did you really feel like entrepreneurship or business? I guess when was the turning point in your life? Because I know you worked as a waiter, right? Or a server.
Yeah. I did all the restaurants jobs.
Yeah.
Started with like a dishwasher, prep cook, busboy, then a waiter, and then that job stopped. And then slowly, I was always into like fitness, but then I worked for my brother Alex doing HVAC while having personal training business. And then eventually, as I worked with Alex and personal training, picked up more clients, I did both. I didn't just jump in and did one thing and hopefully like it worked out. Like I knew the personal training business is gonna take some time, so I had another job to do.
Yeah.
A job that maybe I didn't love, but it covered my expenses. Because like when you start personal training, you gotta pay the rent for the gym. You still have expenses.
Were you always like good with your money? Because I know like
No.
switching around, like trying to take that risk to switch to entrepreneur, you got to be kind of good with money.
Well, that forced you to be good at money.
Yeah, you have to be. It's like you have
that
no
forced me.
choice.
Because in the beginning, when I was younger, I made so many dumb mistakes as far as like money. Going out, spending money to entertain people, to impress people, buy a nice car. I spent my first time bought a Lexus IS 300 when I could not afford it. Like I should not have bought it, but I bought it because like I want to be cool. I want to impress somebody. I want to be the guy with a cool car, like look rich when I was really broke.
I think that can help a lot of people that are in that position.
Yeah.
Tell those people earlier now than so they can become more successful quicker.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do what I did. That's one mistake that I learned from. Is like, don't try to impress people in the beginning.
Because you could have probably been way ahead of the game.
So much ahead of the game.
Sooner.
Because you could have used that money instead of paying off the car. First couple years of my business, I was just trying to get myself out of debt. Because I got myself into like $18,000 worth of just credit card bills, car payments, and then the car wasn't there, but the payments were still there.
Oh boy, yeah.
So I drove my dad got sick at that time, and he couldn't drive. So I bought his car. I sold my car with the money I had. I bought his car, and I drove that car for like 5 years straight without any payments and paying off what debt I had and saving money. So whatever money I had, the only money I spent was be like maybe going out with Nicole, my current wife now, for like a date night, and then that's it. The rest was just like saving.
I do remember those times, man, that you were driving the Honda, 200,000 miles, but you're still, dude, you were showing up, man. You were crushing it.
Yeah, the Honda was a blessing because it never broke down.
Yeah, and no one looked at you differently though.
People didn't care what kind of car I drove, whether it's a Honda Accord. They just always were more impressed like what I had to say or like my physical fitness or
100%. I feel like no one hired you because of your what you have. It's always based on you as a person.
Based on me as a person, based on my like skill to motivate them to. I guess the thing that people like about me is the accountability, that the standard that I keep people to. As far as like as a trainer, as a coach, because a lot of times clients come to me and they never experienced the accountability anywhere else, to a point where it's like if they're late, I'm like, yo, why are you late? Yeah. What's going on?
I remember those days. Just a quick background. I used to train with this guy, man, and it was constant. I was never really that late, but you were definitely always on point, man. Just like even if there was a little bit of chit chat in the background while we're training, we got shut up real quick. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, because when you train there for an hour, it's like I want to make sure you're getting the most out of that hour, and then it's not wasting my time or your time. When people miss a day, it's always with a phone call. Yeah, where are you? Why'd you miss it? Oh, you slept in. Well, then you slept in. It's like, okay, why'd you sleep in? Maybe you should have went to sleep earlier. So it's the accountability people that people like.
A lot of people need accountability.
They don't want somebody as a trainer. They'll be like, let them off the hook, because if they as a trainer, you let them off the hook, they could do them by themselves. They let themselves off the hook all the time.
100%.
So they need that accountability, even though you might not enjoy telling them that. Hey, listen, you got to show up on time. You can't miss days.
At the end of the day, they're going to appreciate you for that.
Yeah, because you want what's the best for them. You want to make sure that with the money they're paying, they gain the result for it.
100%. They might not understand in that little moment,
Yeah.
You know, why is he screaming? Why is he yelling?
Yeah.
Why is he telling me I gotta? But then later on, they'll thank you. You know.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason people get hired coaches.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Especially for the accountability.
Absolutely.
Keep you
Because
accountable.
accountability, it's not, a lot of times people know what they're doing as far as like, gym goes. It's just the accountability and that little bit of push
100%.
that separates people.
I agree with you on that. From even personal experience.
Yeah, you got in shape, really good shape. I remember in 90 days,
Dude.
the transformation was nuts.
Yeah,
I still show that information.
I still look at it
I use
once in a while.
I use that. It was crazy.
No excuse.
I mean, no excuse.
Not to go back to that.
No, I mean, I still, even yourself, like once in a while, like I'll send you a message, be like, Stan,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's get back in shape. Let's come on, because it's not because like I think I'm better than you or like,
I never take it that way.
I just say because I know what you're capable of, because I've seen what you're capable of, and I see like what is your best looks like.
And I learned so much from you. Like, we are the image of our brands, you know, like even for me as a business owner, if I'm just gonna be a fat slob, you know, walking around, what kind of image is that gonna create to if I come to a customer's house, you know?
Yeah. No,
They want to see discipline and
absolutely discipline, because if you show it's such a good, like, your body is such a good business card for nobody. If you put like everything even, your personality, your sales skills, you have somebody that shows up in shape versus you show up somebody that's not in shape and doesn't take care of themselves, I guarantee you the person in shape is gonna get the sale.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
So why not give yourself the upper hand? Yes, it takes a little more discipline, but at the end of the day, the discipline is gonna help you everywhere else in life. Because everything in life is about discipline. Your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God. It's all about discipline. It's the main derivative of successful life.
Creating small good habits.
Yeah,
daily
it's all
habits.
Yeah. And all those habits, before it becomes a habit, it has to be discipline.
Yeah,
It doesn't go all the way around. It doesn't go habit then discipline. It's discipline because it's not a habit yet, and then eventually once you are disciplined enough to create the habit, now you don't have to be as disciplined anymore. Like people are like, oh, you're so disciplined, Ivan. I'm not disciplined anymore.
Just good
because
habits.
Now it's just a habit.
Yeah.
Like waking up at 4:15, 4:30. It's not discipline. It's a habit. Eating the way I eat. Like the other day you mentioned, you're always in shape. You mentioned to Andrew.
Yeah, you're literally the one person I've known in my life that is the most consistent in shape I've ever seen. Like, you've never had ups and downs. Yeah. Unless you did a show, then you obviously got bigger and leaned down, but just consistent. Yeah,
it's just, and now it's not because like it requires so much more discipline from me. Nowadays, there's no you think about it. It's like
part of your life.
For example, I compare Lucas. Right now, Lucas has to have discipline to brush his teeth. Eventually, when he goes to brush his teeth, he doesn't even think about brushing his teeth. It's like he feels weird not to do it.
That's so
good. And
it's
the same thing for me. Same thing for me. It feels weird not to track my macros. It feels weird not to track my protein intake. It feels weird to skip my daily 10,000 steps. It feels weird to skip a workout when it's planned,
I guess, how long do you think that transition period is? So if someone right now is like, man, I've been trying to be disciplined for this long. When it takes some time, right, to become a habit, but certain things are a little faster than others.
Yeah, so you'll be disciplined in certain things more than others,
I personally tell people there's a 2 week, like when it especially comes to eating. Yeah. There's a 2 week where your body kind of like stop eating sugar. Yeah. Your body stops relying on, the addiction kind of starts to wear off. I think it's like almost like anything. 2 weeks, if you can stick to, then a habit starts to be.
I think 2 weeks is like the minimum, because I think the main thing for people, as far as like, let's talk about fitness. In order for it to become a habit, you have to have good enough result that you believe it's worth it to make it a habit.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's say in 2 weeks, you might feel good, but you don't see anything in the mirror. It's still not there. You still be like, what, I could still have a cheat meal. But if you get to a point where that discipline is now, it's so like you could see such a good result out of it that now you could make it a habit out of it because you don't want to lose that result. You know what I mean?
So good. Do people fall in this trap a lot? Do you hear this a lot? Like a lot of people will go, Like, oh man, I ate something bad this morning. So now the whole day they're gonna start eating bad
so
because
common.
they fall. Is that like something that you run into with your clients a lot? Like
Very,
one little mistake, now their whole week is like, I'm gonna start next week fresh.
yeah. But that's the only like clients that just start up.
Yeah, because I always see you on social media like preach. Yeah, you just start right now. Start. Why is the wait till Monday to start again?
Yeah.
You
Even if
screwed
mess
up. You ate something bad. Just start eating healthy again.
Even
right
next
now.
meal.
Next meal,
Even
yeah.
next meal. Even if you had the most terrible meal you possibly can.
I hate to say it though. I'm
in the morning. You want those?
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, it's like.
But I'm overcoming that bad habit,
Yeah.
like especially the last
It's just
couple months.
realization. You got to have like certain things. You just got to have like certain perspectives of it. And be like, okay, why would I do that? You know, at the end,
no logical sense. It makes absolutely no logical sense.
Yeah.
I think it's just like our body, like us to comfort ourselves.
Yeah.
In a way, it's so stupid, but it like makes no sense. But so many people fall in that trap.
I like to use that like analogy of like food wise and like messing up to a like money. I like to always compare those two because they're very similar because it's a budget, you know? Like if you say you woke up in the morning and you decide to buy some shoes that you can't probably afford. You just bought them. You don't go be like, you know what, I already spent $350. I only have $250 in my bank. So you know what, I'm going to go get a whole outfit. Might as well just spend $3 more grand.
That is actually such a good analogy.
You know, you're not gonna do that because you're like, I'm now being $100 in the hole. I'm like $2,000 in the hole.
That is so good.
I have to work like 3 weeks to get the deficit off. You know, it's the same thing with food.
I'm surprised I never caught on this. This is so good.
Yeah, and just use that.
That is such. I'm never gonna look at food the same.
I don't
now,
want to
in that sense.
be such a big deficit. That's a big bill to pay.
That is actually really good. That's really good. That's really helpful, actually, to me personally.
Yeah, I use that like the example to like finances and like food. I use it like very similar. You know.
That was a really good analogy,
like,
actually.
For example, what's easier, to spend money or to make money? What's easier?
Yeah, it's obviously to spend.
To spend it. Well, it's the same thing like this. You rather spend less than try to make more. It's comparison with like cardio versus eating. Yeah, you rather spend, $100 instead of $250 that you got to make on the treadmill. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's like that when it comes to like fat loss. Same thing with with anything. If you just like budget your calories like finances, you'll be good. So if you're good at finances, you should be good at.
That's a really good analogy.
Your diet.
Money to calories. Yeah. And it clicks. That was a really good analogy. That blessed me in a way because now I could. I'm never gonna look at calories the same. So
if you smash those big pancakes and
that's it.
Don't spend it.
Was your first business that you kind of opened was coaching, right? But it was all in person.
So first business was Ivan's Fitness LLC. That was the first business that I started. I remember even making the LLC. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just go
Probably
online.
super pumped though. Nervous.
Swiftfiling.com, creating LLC. Not nervous. I'm just like, hey, you gotta have this because that's the first time I had taxes. The guy's like, yo, you gotta create an LLC so you can start writing off stuff. It was all like flying the go, and that's one thing I want to talk about in the podcast. Like a lot of times, people they try to educate themselves for too long without even getting started. Like when it comes to business, I'm gonna start this business when I learn how to do it. This step 1, step 2, step 3 till it's perfect. You will learn so much more in business by just doing it and then learning as you go, compared to like trying to figure out and then start a business. Like I didn't think about like taxes when I started business. I started business, then when the tax came, you have to worry about taxes, then you figure out how to worry about that. Don't worry about how you're gonna pay taxes if you don't have a business yet. So if you're somebody that like trying to figure out on how to open a business, you gotta just open it. Just do it. Just take some action that you start making some money. And then worry about like LLC, this, that.
Yeah, because you're saying like a lot of people have big dreams and ideas and they tell people about them, tell people. But you mentioned this the other day. You're like, did you start your business? No, not yet.
No. Like 2 years later.
Yeah, just start, right? That's the biggest thing. And then everything else will figure itself out.
Yeah. So I started the Ivan's Fitness. Officially, I started 2022. No, 2012.
2012. You scared me. I was like,
official.
You research.
No, officially 2012 because it says there on my logo. 2012 official I started. I was doing 4 years prior unofficially, kind of like as a side hustle. It wasn't a business. It was like a hustle. Yeah. And there was extra money, just pay the bills, just something I enjoyed. And then when it became business, that's when I started the LLC. The in-person was the only business, in-person training. Then once I started making money, I wanted to invest, And then once I got to a point where I had enough cash, I bought my first property. Then I started Luke's Keys. So I named it Luke's Keys because eventually I want to leave my son to something.
That's so awesome.
So my goal is to buy a property every single year. It's not my main business, but something that eventually, if Lucas doesn't want Ivan's Fitness and doesn't want to do what I'm doing, and wants to say, you know what, I don't want to go to college, which I insist he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he wants to start his own business. Hey, you have these properties, whether it's 15 properties by the time he's 16, 18.
That's such a good goal to have.
And say, so you got all these properties. You could either sell them all and get the money out and do what you want with it, or you could keep them and continue.
That's so awesome. That's what I told my wife even. I want to have at least a property per kid, even when they're college age, or they get married. Hey, here's a gift.
Yeah.
Take the property. You guys can keep it. As an investment, sell it, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But
give him a choice. So he decides to, he wants to take the money out and, open another business with it. Love it.
That's awesome.
He wants to take the money out, go to college with it, go with it. But I'm not gonna pay for his college. I'm just giving him an opportunity. And he could make this own decision once he of age.
It's a good goal and motivator to keep buying properties. Set your kid up.
The thing about when I buy properties that I don't buy as an investment. You were my agents for a couple of houses. I buy what I could afford. So if I have a little cash left, I'll buy a property. I'll put the cash into a property. Yeah. What those properties are paying for is my fun stuff. So every property that I have is paying for my cars. It's paying for the insurances. It's paying for me to enjoy the life, my dream life.
100%. I was actually going to ask you because you're the one that actually got me thinking like this now. I always tell people, my rental property is paying. I'm living for free.
Yeah.
It's paying my current mortgage on my house. I bought so technically the house I'm living in is only $67,000.
Yeah.
Because my rental is $67,000, but it's covered my whole mortgage payment. So that's like you and your McLaren, you said.
Yeah, and that's got to a point where it's when the first three properties I had, they covered both of my cars. Now the other two, they're covering the mortgage on my house. So I'm living pretty much, I would say, for free because I already paid for the houses. They're paid cash, So I'm enjoying my life for free. So eventually, if I say, hey, I want to get rid of the cars, I got to get rid of if I want to buy another car, I got to get more properties, or I get rid of the car.
Yeah, very smart.
It's I don't sacrifice what I'm making from business to enjoy my life. My business does not pay for my cars.
That's so smart, though.
Because that'd be kind of idiotic for me and not smart with money.
I just never knew that until you brought it up. And now every time I look at it, I'm like, all right, I got to get another property so I can buy my Corvette.
There you go.
But I never thought about it that way. Now I'm thinking, why would I buy a Corvette for $150,000 if I can go buy a 2-3 units
and let it pay for it?
And now I'm gonna be paying.
But
for
even one, if you let's say you want $150 Corvette, right?
Yeah.
You buy the house. Let's say you find a house these days. It's kind of hard, but let's say you buy it for $70,000, and then you have the mortgage of the house or the tenants, whatever they pay. Let's say that you charge them $1,400. Now they pay your car payment and you pay your insurance.
100%.
So now the car eventually costs you nothing because you already paid for the house. Because if you sell the house in 4 years, the house is not gonna be $70,000. It'll be $100,000. So you're still making money.
That's that really got me motivated, I guess. When you first brought that up, I'm like, that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You said it. I'm like, man, I never thought about that. Now, I bought the rental and it's paying for my current house. I'm like, technically, I'm living for free.
Yeah, that's smart investing as far as your money goes. As far as
so, do you recommend people don't get loans on rentals?
If that's your business, depends. If you want to turn it into a larger business, it's hey, you don't have what I have, Ivan's Fitness, and then you just have real estate. You have to take loans out,
keep going.
Roll money. Yeah, that's your main business. If you have something that's long term, you think, hey, listen, I don't need this money right now. It's not paying for my houses. It's something for my son. Eventually, I'm not gonna keep the cars for 18 years. I'm gonna sell them eventually. So it's if it's down the line, do what I do. Save some money, work hard, don't spend. Even though right now I have opportunity to spend money and buy whatever I want to. I'm still very frugal because I still have the mindset that I gotta buy a house a year and I can't get mortgages on it. That's my mindset.
Very smart, though.
So let's say I'll save $100,000 a year with us. No, just straight cash. That's a house.
It's very smart, and that allows you to enjoy your life. To have nice cars.
Yeah, it gives me like more freedom, peace of
100%.
mind. It's not something that I'm thinking, oh man, I can't afford the car.
Yeah, peace of mind.
If the business tanks, I can't pay for my my house or this that, because now it's like something else is covered in the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's so smart though, man. I think a lot of people can succeed quicker just thinking like that.
Yeah, you succeed. You're gonna be more like balanced as far as like
balanced. Definitely more balanced. 100%. I like that though. So
yeah, as far as like we have Ivan's Fitness business, and then eventually, as like Ivan's Fitness spun out, and I got to a point where myself I couldn't do it anymore. Album and started training clients, so I hired a trainer under me. So we're still my clients. I'll pay them hourly, and they will help me out. So like instead of training, just 3 people at a time, now you could train 6, and then I hired another one, and now you could train 9 people. So it's still under Ivan's Fitness brand.
yeah,
Instead,
smart.
they help me out, and we rotate those clients. So like one day they'll train with me. So my motto is like at least once a week I'll train a client. They don't feel left out. You know what I mean? But some days
100%.
they'll be
because
with
you're the
Josh.
name.
Yeah, they want to come at the end of the day. They want to see they came to train with Ivan.
Yeah,
So it's not fair if I just not train him at all.
100%.
And then eventually the business kept on growing, and I wanted to expand it, but there's so much room for expansion. That's where online came, and online is like
Endless
opportunity.
Yeah.
And then good results, having good team. Now it became like the main business.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome.
Online. While we are on the topic of online coaching, who does online coaching really target? Like, what kind of people are you trying to target for online? Is it just anybody, or is it better to have some in person, some in online?
So as far as like online coaching goes, our, let's say, niche, who we work with, is mostly like busy parents, busy entrepreneurs, somebody that's just like cannot get an in-person training because of their schedule or availability, but they still want to get in shape at their own leisure, as far as like at their own gym, or somebody that's not even in the Rochester area, because our Rochester is so saturated already with like personal training. We're trying to get somebody outside Rochester.
Yeah.
So that's who it's for.
That's how you grow. You got to target not just where you are, small location. There's only so many people in Rochester that are going to sign up, Yeah. And I guess if someone was to reach out, and what is the process, or what does online training consist of?
Online training, people think that like it used to be back in the day that you get a program, right? You get a program PDF, see it. No, it's more coaching. What we provide is very personalized coaching. What we do is we set you up with nutrition coaching. It's not something that like, hey, this is a diet plan, follow it. We would explain to you about nutrition. Just like I earlier explained, analogy of finances. We're going to explain to you how to look at food in order to make certain foods part of your life without sacrificing things that you enjoy eating, as long as you find that little balance. Because you don't want to be eating like a bodybuilder to get in shape, like chicken, rice. Even though that could be one of your meals, you don't have to eat them all the time. It could be a couple meals like that, and then let's say at night, you want a slice of pizza with your kid, have a slice of pizza, as long as you fit into your nutritional needs. So you want to teach people more about food, because a lot of people just do not understand why they're eating certain foods to get in shape.
That's so good. I think that's where you stand out from others, is you really teach people the relationship with food.
Yeah.
And that you can still enjoy some good meals as long as you just teach people the macros, and you really teach people how to have a good relationship with food.
Yeah, understanding of nutrition, understanding the basis of nutrition.
Because I remember,
that's the main goal.
Like you said, back in the day, they would just split out, like throw you a plan.
Yeah.
Hey, salmon, broccoli, this is what you got to eat for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And people wants to get results, and there's the results there, and like, I'm so tired of eating chicken and broccoli. What can I eat? Chicken and sweet potato. Well, you can, if you understand how to replace that.
It's just teaching, giving people knowledge. So people are really buying knowledge.
It's a skill. I say you're going to learn a skill of understanding nutrition. And then as far as like training program, you don't get just like exercises. Hey, listen, this is the exercise A, exercise B. We get the exercises. You get explanation of the exercises. You get videos. It's a lot different nowadays what's online coaching is compared to what it used to be.
Yeah,
It's
more
almost
advanced.
like if something that I was looking for back in the day when I tried to start up, I would pay whatever money I needed to pay in order to get that, because you will get results so much faster because you get instant coach. You don't get like a program and then no relationship with somebody. You get a coach. So if you go to a restaurant, you know you're going to a restaurant tonight, and you message Nicole, like, hey Nicole, I'm going to Good Luck. Can you look at the menu? What will be the best suggestion in order for me to fit into my diet plan? Nicole will look at that menu and give you a couple choices and say, hey, listen, this is not going to be perfect, but this will not set you off to a place where you have to endless of cardio tomorrow to burn off those calories.
That's awesome. Yeah, just understanding or having the relationship with food.
Yeah.
I guess. And that's where I feel like you stand out from other people. Because people think online coaching is
their coaching stands out because of like you get real life coaching,
That's awesome.
Just like a plan.
Yeah, and then I guess to transition from that, before, how can people...
So just Instagram. Contact me on Instagram if you want to, at Ivan's Fitness. You could go on website, www.ivansfitness.com, fill out the form over there, and we'll go through the form. We'll give you a 15-minute, 30-minute consultation, figure out what your goals are, figure out if you're the right client for us and if you're the right coach for you, because we want to make sure we have a good relationship from the start.
That's awesome. Before you're not just all about catching
getting
somebody.
The money. No, you don't want your money, and then you're just not going to have the commitment to stick to getting the results.
That's
because
awesome.
if you don't get the results, you won't be the happy client that tells the friend. And that's how business works.
100%. Referrals, man.
Referrals.
That's all it is. Huge. Yeah, awesome, man. So transitioning to the culture. That's another one. Is that like a separate business?
Mm-hmm. So the culture is kind of a combination of Ivan's Fitness and another business. So the culture, let me explain to people that don't know what the culture is. The culture, first, is the gym, where I run my personal training from. We also have solo boxing, where we have boxing program there. We teach kids how to box. We teach adults how to box. We run cardio classes there that involves boxing. We also have a barbershop there, and then we also have a massage therapist there.
That's awesome.
So
man.
It's all in one place, and that's the culture. I always want to have like a place where you have a barbershop,
one-stop shop.
Take care of it. Now we're still looking for 2 people. We want to find a nail person, and we want to find a hairdresser. So we have mostly, I would say, 80% as far as personal training, 80% female-based clients. So you want to make sure when they come in, they have a hairdresser there, a nail person.
That's awesome.
It'd be cool.
That's a good niche, I guess.
Yeah.
All in one, you work out, take a shower, do your nails, go to work, whatever.
It's
That's
cool
pretty
because like the people that own the building, they always use our place as an example. Like on a daily basis, when they try to rent out spaces, they show our place.
This is what you could have.
This is what you could have. This is I'm like,
yeah. What is it always like? Was it always a dream of yours, or to have a gym of your own, or was it like because you got kicked out? Not kicked out, but like a gym went out of business. Or I think that happened twice.
So, 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. So little background. So I started at Lifetime Fitness. Then that Lifetime Fitness turned to PW.
Good memories in PW. The red carpet.
So many
the red carpet.
And the old machines. I mean, there was some of the best machines they had there.
Yeah.
It was really good to me. The owner just was not a great business person. Great person, not a great business person. So 4 days before he was getting kicked out, he told me, Ivan, Monday, and we closed it down.
Let me ask you, what was that? Did your stomach just drop to the floor?
Drop because I was just like getting successful to a point where I'm doing full time, paying my bills, doing personal training. My name is out there, have good clientele. Every hour was like had a client, and now he's like, yo, you have no gym. Where you go? That was like one of the hardest like things to figure out. And I just got married. Just like timing of it.
Those are blessed. Like those moments are a blessing because those are what make you or break you.
Yeah.
How you handle those situations is what makes you, who you are today.
It taught me how to like get myself out of tough situations.
You would have probably never had a gym.
No, No,
you know?
but also it's like it taught me how to like, okay, you could find a way to get out and find an even better situation. Because then like I made phone calls and I asked friends like, hey guys, do you know anybody that owns a gym that might be open to a place where I could rent, rent space and not be a personal trainer, but rent space and run my own business. And then sometimes you learn the art of negotiation, That's how kind of it taught me. And then you talk to a gym, you tell them what you have to offer. And eventually we found World Gym in Webster. That was great too. Business even went further there because it was a bigger
I feel
gym.
like that's where your turning point, where business really blew up there too.
Yeah.
It was Worlds.
World Gym was really, really good. I mean, awesome. And I was going to buy that gym too.
Yeah, I remember
that
those
was
days.
I was gonna say no. I want this place because the guy that was running the place or owned the place just lost passion for it, and a lot of things happened in his life that he lost passion for it. So I wanted to buy the gym. We already negotiated the price. Price was ready for it. It was right like a couple months before COVID. I think it was like September. I sat down with my lawyer friend Joe. I remember sitting down at dinner. He goes, "Don't do Ivan. The numbers don't add up. Just don't add up. Like the gym is really run down. By the time you fix it, does not bring any money in. So whatever you bring is what it brings."
Yeah, that's
good. So it goes, don't buy it. So before signing papers to buy it, that Saturday I said, no, I'm not going to buy it. Going down forward, 2 months later, I'm getting ready for Arnold's show, getting prepped. And then we hear these rumors about this virus that's supposed to be going around, like messing people up. China virus. And I was like, it's not going to be no big deal, prepping it. 2 weeks out before the show, they said, you know what, there's not going to be any audience in the show. We don't know if there's going to be even a show for bodybuilders. I was doing the Arnold Classic. And they said, what the heck is going on? So I still do the show with no audience. It was so awkward. There was no last
weird,
show.
dude.
So we're no audience. You're just flexing there, by yourself with just judges and lights, It's just weird. And then I come home. Next day, we decided to go on vacation. So after Arnold, I'm going to take my family on vacation for like a week. We went to St. Lucia, chilling, having a good time. Everything's good. Call my mom. Mom goes, don't come back. I was like, what do you mean don't come back?
Oh, my.
She goes, there's no food. There's no toilet paper, no food. Everything's bought off. The stores are closed. Business is getting closed. Like, mom, get out of here. I'm flying back home, go to New York City. People wearing like shields and like masks. Hazmat suits over here, like chilling with my shorts on, I'm like, what is going on? What is this? Come home. Mom wasn't lying, Stores, meat was bought off.
It's the toilet paper era,
The toilet paper was bought off. All the processed foods were bought off. And I was driving to the gym. As I'm driving to the gym, the owner calls me. He goes, Ivan, we have shut the gyms down. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like national government said, hey, listen, you got to shut down every gym because of the virus. I'm like, I can't. This is my business.
That's crazy.
And,
I can imagine the stress.
We signed, like a couple of weeks before vacation, we signed a contract to build a house where I currently live.
I always tell people when there's one problem, they all come at the same time.
I was like, gotta be kidding me. And when you sign, you own a business, you know how it is. You own a business, they run based on what you're currently making. So you got to show income. I think it was 4 months prior to the final contract that you bring a certain amount of money in order for you to close, in the house or
it's crazy,
get the property. So that was the most probably stressful time of my life because I have no job. The gyms were not open. Now you have the house. I have my son, my wife. I'm the only one that's bringing actual income into the family. So it was all on me. So you had to figure out a way.
And I was going to say, if someone is in that position, like how did you overcome it? How should someone overcome it?
You can't give up. You have to keep digging. And that's so important that when things are good, you create good relationships because you never know what's going to happen. You just don't know. Keep every bridge that you can.
Don't break any.
Don't break any bridges. It doesn't matter how good your life is, you might need somebody. So at that time, Brad Williams owned the training grounds. It's a small private gym. And we never met before. We just talked on Facebook. We just had a lot of things in common, personal training, the life. And he said, Ivan, come and work out. Just come work out because I was working out. Remember, we used to work out at
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the dungeon.
In the dungeon, like literally in the warehouse.
Couldn't breathe for like 4
Couldn't
days after each
breathe.
worked.
It was, I think it was a morgue over there, or they burned
Something, dude. I don't know what it was.
It was weird.
It was like
Yeah.
in the Titanic, in
Yeah.
the boiler rooms.
Boiler rooms. There's boiler rooms there. It was just dust everywhere. But
Cool
we worked out
experience,
there
though.
to stay in shape, And he says, "Come work out." So I was working out, built a relationship. I worked out there every night. Like I had to go into like weird hours, so nobody calls the cops. So we used to go there like 7:30, 8 p.m. Work
Looking
out.
back at all this, it's like, man,
weird.
it's
It's a movie.
so, dude, yeah.
But things we did to stay in shape, to go to the gym, and now it's like, yeah, you don't have any restrictions that people still can't get you to the gym. It seems like more people were more passionate back
when
in
they were
there
restricted.
when they were restricted because they're so like, oh, you can't go. So people are like, no, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Everybody's
That's
into
crazy.
fitness. Everybody was doing like home workouts, this, that, and now that's like it's open. People like, I could take a day off.
Yeah,
Over
that's so
there,
weird.
Any
Yeah.
opportunity you get, you go to the gym. And so we worked out there for a little bit, and then Brad's like, you know what? If you have any clients, they're like, extra have the balls to come and work out. They don't care about COVID or getting caught. Tell them, you could train here. I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, dude. Just
That's so
go
awesome.
for it, man. So we started training clients there. Whoever wanted to come, and all my clients came. Nobody said no.
That's
It's like
so awesome.
one or two people like said no, but it's like I expected. They were a little bit older people, and I kind of understood it. But everybody came, and then the business started booming again because you were the only one that was kind of open.
Only one, dude. Yeah.
There's so many cool stories where that came from because like the cops knocking at the door.
It's crazy.
Just banging.
You can make a whole movie.
Is anybody in here? We like shut the lights off. Nope, nobody's in there. I come out, and they're like, "Are you training people here?" It's like, "No, I'm just working out with friends." They're like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah."
It's
Like,
just
"Okay."
wild to even think
Wild.
that this was like,
Cops, but they had to do their job because some other gym would call on us to
wild,
shut us
dude.
down. But you
It's
can't
wild.
really. They didn't have any like rights to shut any private gym down because it wasn't a franchise. It was a private
it's
gym.
not public. It's you and your
it's
buddies.
like you and my buddies. Me and my buddies working out. You can't just shut it down.
Can't do anything about it.
So we did that for a little bit, and the business, went great there. That's where I started hiring. First trainer under me, things started rolling there again.
Yeah, that was good.
And then it got to a position where the place was kind of small, and I wanted to.
You outgrew it, and that's
yeah.
when culture happened, right?
And then, Dimitri said, "No, I got this place, Ivan. You're gonna like it on University Avenue. It's really like good place in a good area." And when I first came there, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like I don't see it. Then brought Nicole. Nicole's like, it's gonna be a good spot. You should go for it.
Sometimes you need the wife.
The wife, she's got good like eyes for like where things with potentials.
Yeah.
And then like same thing with the house. When I first bought the lot, I'm like, this is gonna be our house. There's trees, bushes everywhere. It's like a small little area, and now we have the best lot in the neighborhood.
That's so awesome.
So she has got the good vision, and that's so important to have the partner that might push you a little bit more. And then she's like, you should go for it. So I thought about it. Like, oh, it's such a big risk. And I'm sure everybody's facing that now. They're comfortable as far as like business going well. So you don't want to like, just like you don't want to get uncomfortable.
100%.
Because you're going to have to get uncomfortable to go to the next level.
100%. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. And then I said, no, let's do it. And then Dimitri goes, yo, we got to do it. But
yeah, it was like a short period. I'm
I
like,
was
how in the
dude,
world?
this is October. He goes, yeah, we got to figure it out. I guess we got to sign a contract, and we're going to do it by January.
Boom. And I think you guys made it, right?
Made it. January 1st, we opened.
Yep, I remember that.
After the first New Year, it's the January 2nd, to be the exact date. We opened it, and after that, it was just like an instant success. People loved the culture. People loved the boxing part, the gym, the people. It's just like...
Dude, the atmosphere.
The atmosphere at my place is like...
It's unbelievable. You can do the same amount of weight in a different gym, but it feels heavier at the culture. I'm not joking. I do the same workouts. I worked out with you guys the other day.
Yeah.
Sore for 3-4 days, like afterwards.
Yeah. No, it's just like the people there. That's what we call the culture. The culture we created there is amazing. I'm so proud of it because like everybody's pushing each other. Everybody's supportive of each other. It's not like a regular gym. Like everybody considers themselves as like a family.
Like-minded people you get going in there with the same goal.
Nobody talks crap about each other. Everybody's,
that's so awesome.
in a group. And I think it starts like with me. Like I never stood for like gossip. If somebody says something about like my other client, it shuts down right away. It's like, yo, we're not gonna do that here. You know, if you have a problem with them, go talk to them. Don't talk to me and try to like stir things up.
Yeah, and it spreads quick, you know,
Yeah.
the gossip and
Yeah, it's like
you definitely built a good culture.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's the culture, and now it's thriving. It's doing well.
And then I guess the question is, how do you keep your like clients constantly motivated and for them to be consistent? Or obviously you're gonna have clients that are, you know, here and there, they keep falling back, but they keep paying you, so it keeps giving you business. But at the same time, like, how do you try to keep them to be consistent, motivated?
It's a standard you gotta keep. You know, there's some clients that pay me the same amount of money as the other person, and they might not be doing the work, but I'll still, you know, do my job as far as like messaging them to be like, hey, listen, hey, why you not tracking your macros? Hey, why not doing the dive? Because I know where it leads to. I know an unmotivated person is eventually gonna stop as far
100%.
as business goes. So for my job as in business and continue to person motivate, we have to create some kind of result, and the result happens by them doing the work. So if they're like slacking, okay, we have to figure out how to get them motivated, how to get them the
slacking
result.
clients make you look bad at the end of the day. Okay, this guy's been training with Ivan for 6 months.
We had to
No
fire.
result.
I had to fire.
I was gonna ask you, like, where's that breaking point? Like, sorry, buddy, like we can't help you out.
A year. I give somebody a year. If and they decide not to change something, as far as like, hey, the diet's got to change. You got to put in some extra time outside the gym to see result. Eventually, be a conversation with like, you know what, somebody else is gonna pay the same amount of money that is gonna do the work and be better for the brand. So I'm sorry, but we're just gonna
gotta
go a
cut
different
ties.
way. Maybe try somebody else. You know, maybe they will
Go to LA
motivate you.
Fitness trainers.
Yeah, basically. And sometimes you have to do that for your brand, because at the end of the day, eventually, the way I post, the way I show off my clients, eventually people are like, well, this person's been going for
100%
for a
100%.
year and they still look the same. He doesn't know what he's doing. You know,
I feel like that relates to any business in
Yeah.
a way, your brand. Like,
but people don't understand, public doesn't understand that the trainer doesn't control a lot of it. You know, we just
100%.
control 1 hour that you with me, 2 hours that you with me, 3 hours for a week, but you could do a lot of damage with the rest of the hours when it
but
comes
that's
to your
why I
progress.
consider you an like trainer that's up here, because you can really get people to stay on track.
Yeah.
And different things you tell them, or how you said your online coaching, where you teach them the relationship compared to another trainer. You go to LA Fitness, you get a trainer there.
Yeah.
He's just gonna.
It's just a different standard.
Standard,
I guess,
yeah.
I guess the standard you have to keep them to. And that starts from the beginning. It's like any relationship, you have to have right from the beginning and be like, listen, this is the standard I have with my clients. This is the standard I accept. Are you willing to keep up with these standards? If you say yes, let's work.
And when even speaking about risks, because you overcame so many risks during COVID.
Yeah.
How do you handle that fear? Because we all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
If you don't have sleepless nights, or like you're not like stressing out at some point, which we all do at some point. Some days you wake up, you're like, man, I wish I never even woke up today. There's so much stress,
So much shit.
How do you how do you handle that personally?
Yeah.
To just silence those. Do you like, oh man, I overcame before, or like even, hey, God helped me overcome here. Why wouldn't He?
Exactly. Some days, like I have those days more often that I share. You know, that's one thing I have to work on, it because people look at my life and they're like, oh, I mean, so, you know, things always work out. There's things, so many things that happen that don't work out in my favor.
People don't see that.
It's just like, I'm not going to share that because, like, there's nothing you could do to help me. You know, it's something that I have to do myself. But at the moments like that, it's just evidence of previous things that happen, you know.
You overcame it then?
Yeah.
Why can't I overcome it again?
Yeah. It's like, sometimes I sit down and I have this discussion, because my mom is more with faith-based like I am. And we talk about these things. I was like, Mom, like, I never fear anything anymore. As far as like, I know God wants me to win. There's nothing like, no matter what, maybe I won't, what goal I have, no matter what goal it is, maybe it won't be at the timeline that I want to be, but I'll reach it. Just
Our timeline and God's timeline are different.
Just based on the evidence before. Because the life that I'm living now is way beyond the dream I had in my head. You know?
That's awesome.
So like, what God has for me even further, I'm not gonna question it. So like, if there's gonna be setbacks, there's gonna be moments, I'll be like, okay,
Just look back at the past and know that you.
Like, hey, listen, we overcame it. He helped me here, and we ended up in way better situation every single time. Every single time that bad things happen, I consider bad things at that time, I ended up in a way better situation.
Yeah, because you're not an entrepreneur if you don't stress out at one point or another, or don't have those days that are like, man, I don't even want to get up today.
Yeah.
So much,
you have to deal with this,
constant,
The best thing you could do is get up and deal with it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get better.
But I feel like that's what sets us apart, entrepreneurs and people that are 9 to 5, or they can't handle it.
You gotta to do this game of entrepreneurship. You have to love a little bit of stress. You have to enjoy a little bit of that, man. There's a problem, and I gotta figure out how to solve it. You gotta enjoy a little bit of problems.
That's like the definition of entrepreneurship, is
just solving problems.
Finding a thing that people need, or kind of a problem that there is in this world, and you find the solution for it.
Yeah,
that's
and the bigger problem you could solve, the more money you get paid.
And a lot of it is a mindset thing,
Yeah.
Like people have to change their mindsets in life, and
it's mindset with that. It's like that with everything. Mindset with the way you look, how you make money. It's all starts there.
So all the right mindset.
Whatever you put in your head, and then the body will follow it. Your actions will follow it.
100%. We didn't even touch base on you have so many businesses going on. It's a supplement line. Mm-hmm. You have clothing and supplement. Those are kind of, we'll put them in together because they're similar in a way.
Yeah, clothing, I'll consider that as not as a business. I consider clothing more as like a marketing. Mm-hmm. Clothing is like, this is what markets my Ivan's Fitness, the big dog of the businesses.
Feeds,
it feeds that. The One Nutrition, same thing. Again, started at the worst time. I started the One Nutrition supplement line during COVID.
What even made you even think about starting a supplement line?
So I had no business, and then I'm sitting there for weeks on with my son. My wife was working. I was like, you know what? I always wanted to create a supplement line. Never had the time to sit down, create this formula, find a company to make it. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Today is going to be the day. Like one of those things you say to yourself, today's going to be the day. I took that formula that I had for pre-workout. That was even before ChatGPT,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whatever I liked, I'm like, okay, this is going to work really good together. This is going to be good. This is what I want in mind. From previous using other pre-workouts, this is how much caffeine I want in mine. And then I sent it to the company. They sent me, in like 3 weeks, they sent me a sample batch.
I remember trying it.
Terrible.
One of the first
batch was terrible. I put so much caffeine in it. I was like shaking and stuff like that. So like you take the batch and then you like, okay, maybe less caffeine, more of this stuff, change the flavor, and then trial and error, and eventually you get your first product.
Yeah.
And then once the first product came out, people liked it. I'm like, okay, now whatever money I'll make on this, I'm gonna open another product. It's like same thing with other business. You take the money you make, you don't spend it, you put it right back into business.
And I feel like the moral of this right here is, even though you were not working, you were not like, playing that, what the heck am I going to do?
No.
You're like, man, I got to create another niche, another opportunity. Yeah. I'm not going to wait for an opportunity to come hit me in the face. I'm going to go and create one. And that's boom. Yeah. Maybe if that never happened, you might have never even had a supplement line.
There's so many things that like during that time that I didn't sit there and just like, okay, I'm just going to wait and see what happened. I had a couple of businesses that didn't do well. I tried selling tripods. Amazon. I bought a crap load of tripods, I think 800 worth of tripods, trying to get it from China and then sell it on Amazon. That failed. Then I tried selling clothing, get it from what do you call that place, whatever.
AliExpress
clothing, and then selling it. They all came in like weird sizes. But you try. You try.
That's
you fail.
You fail, man.
Okay, that didn't work. Now I got not do that again. Or learn this mistake.
Yeah.
From that, 100%. And then you apply that to your other business.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm glad that you take advantage of those downtimes.
Yeah.
And you seize the opportunities. You don't wait. So that's awesome. I mean, you don't. I guess supplements is kind of like you said. It just you incorporate it. It kind of, most of your clients are probably the ones that are training with you. It's right there. You sell it at the gym, I'm assuming. So
yeah. So instead of like say, hey, listen, go buy pre-workout here, go buy creatine here, go buy your EAs here, you have it there for them.
That's awesome.
It's just there for them. They're getting it at the better price. You're making a little bit of money on it. You're providing them with a product that is going to be beneficial. That's going to be good. So it's like a win-win. you know.
Yeah.
And then if somebody else buys it outside Ivan's Fitness, even better.
Yeah. And then I guess another question, since we kind of touched on a little bit of faith, like what role has faith played in your success and decision making as well?
Yeah.
'Cause, you know,
It's major, you know. It's major. Like when I was younger, I didn't have as much, let's say, faith. You know how we were brought up in Pentecostal family,
yeah.
so God was always there for us. But I didn't have as much as like belief, because you're young. You don't know. You don't
just
any
have your parents'
experience.
belief. Yeah.
You have somebody else's beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's like I gained the belief through, as I said before, evidence. You know, so now I have faith because I know who I am and what level of success I was reached. It's not supposed to happen, you know,
Yeah.
just by magic. You know, it happened because somebody else helped me to give me the right people in my life, the ability to withstand when you want to fail, you know, withstand those hardships and those things. So as you go through those things, the faith grows more and more and more. You know, the more you overcome, the more you start to believe.
Yeah, you
that,
look
hey,
back. You keep looking back. Like,
Yeah.
man, he helped me overcome there, and it's like that's how you know faith keeps growing like that. So that's true.
Like, this summer, like last summer, a lot of things like happened to my cars. You know, they kept breaking down. You know, and at that time, Mom was like, "Mom, come over." She goes, "You know, this happened. You're still chill though." I'm like, "Mom, maybe the car broke down, so you know I don't crash it this year."
Yes,
You know,
that's so good.
So things happen because maybe this time I could use this time to go on vacations with Nicole Luke instead of traveling with the guys. There's
That's
a reason
such a
for
good
it.
mindset to have. Did you ever hear that story, the Twin Towers? So the guy was going to work in the morning. He was walking and he spilled coffee in his t-shirt. And he's like, gosh, man, I spilled coffee and I got to go walk back home. During that time that he was complaining walking back home, the building fell where he was supposed to work.
It's insane.
So it spared his life.
Yeah.
So now anytime there's a problem in my life, like my car breaks down, I'm like, thank God, what are you preventing me from?
Yeah. That's how you look at it. You know, it's all about perspective, you know, and that summer ended up being great. You know, we had a great summer, you know. I didn't drive it. I drove the white car, you know, I didn't drive the 720. But there's a reason for it. You know, it's just that the belief helps you, gives you such a peace of mind. The whole anxiety, the whole depression thing goes away when you have like faith for like, hey, there's a reason for this. That helped me a lot.
How do you don't let success change you as a person? Because it feels like you're the same person that I've known since a kid. Like it doesn't feel like success made you a different person.
No, because
Like you're the same person, you're just successful now.
Because I'm humble enough to understand that it could be taken away from you in any second.
That's a good.
You know what I mean?
Good way to look at
I'm
it,
not. People say, "Oh, Ivan is like not humble." I'm not humble that I am lesser than you. I'm equal as you. I'm equal as everybody else. But I'm humble enough to understand that whatever I have now, it's a blessing. I'm gonna enjoy it. But if I stopped whatever I'm doing now, I stopped. In a year, it'll be gone. So I'm humble to understand that, hey, listen, you got to continue working, continue being the same person, continue, you know, putting in the work in, continue giving people the knowledge, giving people information, and being just nice to people. When you meet me in person, I'm always going to give you a hug, always smile, always ask how you're doing, because, you know, I understand that I'm not better than anybody. And the fact of just because I'm driving a cool car, just because I have great body, I'm still, you know, humble enough to understand that you could be the same person if you had my
it's true.
my beliefs and my
definitely see you same person, successful now. Just you haven't changed in like the way you approach people, and you're still like the same.
That's one thing I just never want to do.
Which is so awesome, man. There's very few, because success ruins a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people get ruined. So I kind of wanted to go into quickly debunking myths.
I love it.
Because there's so many of them. Yeah. So we can quickly. Supplements are magic.
Supplements. Well, if you look at supplements, the word supplement, it says everything. You know, it's supposed to supplement whatever you're not getting through food.
So you're telling me I can't lose weight drinking green tea? Supplement?
You could lose weight if you only drink green tea.
That's a good one. Because a lot of people, man, like fat burner. That's it. They, you know.
Yeah, they supplement whatever you're doing. People often ask me about fat burners. I'll give you an example of fat burners. Fat burner will help you in the point of, hey, listen, it's going to help your diet, it'll help you stick to the diet better. It's going to give you more energy during cardio, so you can burn more calories. And it's going to help your, let's say, thyroid health to be more even compared to if you don't take the fat burner. Yeah. But if you don't do other things, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything. All right, another one here. Lifting weights makes you bulky, especially for women.
Absolutely not.
That's a big one.
No, lifting weight does not make you bulky. Lifting weights is just going to make you more defined, more toned. Girls say, I want to look toned. You can't tone fat. You got to get rid of fat, build muscle. That's how you look toned. But yeah, you cannot. It's just the way woman's body's made, you cannot get bulky as far as like looking like a guy.
So we'll toss that myth out the window.
Toss it out.
This is the one that I think is the most asked, and people think that it's true. I fell in the trap for a long time. Carbs are bad.
Carbs, nah. I mean, it's common,
especially now because the carnivore.
Even myself, when I was younger, I mean, I didn't eat any carbs, and that could really plummet your health if you don't understand nutrition. If you just like don't eat carbs and don't eat fats, it could really destroy your health.
That's why you hire a online coach that teaches you to have a relationship with food.
Yeah, understand food better.
Yeah, understand.
Because carbs is great fuel for training and energy. It's like the primary fuel.
Yeah, and another big one is fat loss is all about doing tons of cardio.
Definitely not. And weight loss is, if you want to lose weight, just strictly on weight, you could do just your cardio. If you want to lose fat, you have to build muscle while losing fat. And that's by training and eating properly.
And Ivan, the people want to know, are you natty or not?
Yeah. So this is not going to be a rapid question. So the people ask me, are you natty or not? Since I was my whole life, probably till, I'll say, it's going to be almost 2 years now. So 2 years ago, I started not feeling well as far as like what I used to feel. So I went to a doctor and we got blood work done. And he goes, Ivan, here's the situation. You have a lower testosterone than you're supposed to have. And I said, what's the precaution? What should I do? So he put me on some peptides and things like that. That didn't work for like 6 months. And then eventually he prescribed me a testosterone replacement therapy. So last 2 years, whether you want to consider it as natty or not, I've been doing testosterone replacement therapy for 2 years.
But the older you get,
I'm 37, going to be 38 soon. So the age, and I think going through the whole COVID stress things, that all leads to your hormones to get way out of whack. 100%. So whatever it was, got my blood work done, do other doctor supervision every 6 months, check on it, see how things are going.
Man. As long as you're feeling good.
So that's the answer if you want, whatever you want to consider that as.
Yeah, who knows? People can run with it and think whatever they want.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how it is. But man, you do have a wonderful and beautiful family.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
We didn't really touch much on that, but you have a beautiful wife, beautiful child. And I love watching how you raise your kid.
Yeah.
That boy's going to be a man real quick. Just the way you guys raise him, man, it's such an awesome thing. That's what I love watching the most. I like your stories and things. You don't baby him no. That kid's going to be a man real quick.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times we go out and people see him, it's like, man, he's different, because we treat him like a little adult, and that's how
it's a good way to look at
supposed to be.
Yeah, little adult. Nah, it's a blessing, man. You're very successful. You're one person that I look up to. You and your brother, Alex.
Yeah, I look up to him.
Dude,
I look up to him. If it's like as far as like father version, my dad passed away. He was like my father.
Yeah, Alex is the man.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get an example of how to raise your kids.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He's really the guy.
Absolutely.
So those are the two people that I look up to the most.
Oh, thanks, man. It means
it's
a lot.
You and your brother, Alex.
Yeah.
I always tell people behind the scenes, you might not see it, but I'm like, dude, Ivan.
I love it, man.
Constantly. I think it runs out of my mouth every day. So just in business, and because I've known you, and success didn't change you.
No.
And I feel like that's where the respect from me comes, because it didn't change you. So
appreciate that.
It was awesome having you on, man.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I hope I answered all the questions. Hopefully everybody got to know me a little bit, get to know true me. And then as I tell anybody, I'm always an open book. Any questions you might have about nutrition, training, and just like overall, life as I get older, I get more experience, and you want to get my perspective on it, you can always reach out.
Yeah. I always looked at you as just always consistent.
It's
and like
consistency.
what hard work really turns out to be, man.
Yeah.
You're just an example on that end. God bless you, man. You and your family are awesome.
Thank you,
so
man.
happy to have you on again.
Yeah.
And if I didn't say this is my cousin, because I don't think I've mentioned it, but I knew we grew up together. But
Oh yeah,
truly
Good
blessed
times.
to have you on, man. And
Sure.
thanks again.
appreciate you.
And you
man.
guys, if you need great supplements, clothing, nutrition, anything, like you said, they stand out because they teach you how to have, to see, you're going to see and value food in a different way
Yeah.
compared to
You
other
gotta
coaches.
You're gonna learn instead of just getting a plan.
Yeah.
It's like a skill you're gonna learn.
Yep. And I think that's where you stand out from everybody else. So, ivansfitness.com, or just look them up on
Instagram.
social. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram,
Yep. Thank you.
MySpace.
What the?
No MySpace, but all right, man. Thanks again for coming. It was a
Appreciate
pleasure,
it.
man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stan. Appreciate it, bro.